Today we are going to talk about why surfers should get into foiling.
No, definitely not. Nope, not gonna happen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got a really special one for you guys today. And this one is covering how we believe, all surfers would really enjoy foiling. And we're gonna give you the reasons why, pros and cons, we'll say, of getting into it and how to get into it properly. But we're gonna dive right into it. The most important thing is, look, there's nothing that's better than surfing in a perfect wave and being with your community, and we all love that. That's an experience you can't take away, and I think, surfing is that experience. It is just magical. Saying that, the reason why we're bringing this video to you is because there's so many ways where foiling can take your surfing to another level or give you more days, another tool in the bag to just be out there in the water doing things that you probably can't even imagine. So diving right into it, I would say, one of the number one reasons why I think a surfer should think about getting into foiling is you don't need to be in the crowded lineup. You don't need to be in the perfect spot. You can literally go foil a little teeny bump, a piece of chop, a little ridge, a roller. Like, it opens the door to so many more spots in a less crowded lineup.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one of the things that can be frustrating as a surfer is, it is a sport that, has a lot of participants, but not a lot of places. So everybody's crowding in one place. And I even see it as some surfers that maybe don't live in a perfect surfing place and even maybe inland on lakes. So it really opens the door to more location to spread out, and ultimately, it's going to give you more time on the water.
No question about that. I think, the second main reason I think that, you should really think about it is, when you surf, you catch a wave, the sets are coming and you can paddle back out, get in the routine, get in line, catch the next wave. That's kind of the routine. With foiling, you can catch a wave, get on the swell, get on the bump, pump all the way back out, and you could link waves for minutes. I think the guys are doing over an hour and a half linking. It's a little more advanced, but I'm just saying, you have the ability to just get on so many different waves. And what's unique about that is, you can pump back out and get on the roller that maybe isn't near the break and ride that roller and carve as hard as you want to carve. And you're not necessarily near the surf lineup or, in that realm. So it opens the door to so many more surf spots in your normal surf spots, is what I would say.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen that evolution in surfing, from riding a shortboard versus riding a longboard, and then longboard versus sup. And now, the foiling is the thing that's giving you that extra time on a wave, catching it way early. And ultimately, in a session, you are going to be spending more time riding the wave and then less time waiting for the set to come.
Totally. And another reason, just to go into the reasons why this is, can open the door or at least make you think about what are the possibilities, is, you can be on a lake, you can be on an intercoastal. If the wind starts blowing, that chop creates a swell or an energy bump. And you can get on a SUP foil or a Lift X, which is a powered foil, and you can ride these energies and surf just like you would be normally surfing or ride swell for over an hour, however many miles you want to go. These are these opportunities that you have in places that maybe isn't the perfect breaking wave. And it opens the door to hit different aspects. So the wind's on. Now I can maybe grab a wing and I can go winging. It'll just open that door to so many more options in that foiling realm, and maybe guide you into different aspects and give you more time on the water. And saying all that, we have some incredible people like Dane Wilson, who created a video Unbounded with Zane Westwood, and he's an incredible surfer and foiler, and he's doing both in those conditions. And link in the description, as well as Downwind Dialogue with John Florence and Nathan Florence. I mean, they're using it, and they're some of the best surfers in the world, and they're using foiling as another way to read the ocean and get better with knowledge and energy and reading it, and it helps translate into their surfing. So, I think, the best in the world, Gabriel Medina's, all these guys out there are doing it because it's, one, super incredibly fun. The community is amazing, and 3, it opens the door to more time on the water, doing something that's incredibly fun. And I challenge you to give it a shot, or open it up, or share this with a friend who's on the fence. I really do believe that everybody can fall in love with it, and nothing to take away from surfing. Surfing's spectacular. It's just going to give you another tool, another board in your quiver to be able to do more in conditions that maybe aren't favoring that perfect wave session.
Yeah, I think we should hear it from John Florence and Nathan Florence. They said it perfectly, so we're going to show you the clip.
So you had to learn how to read the ocean out the back in the wind. You really get to just focus on reading chop.
Yeah.
And that is like the one thing I felt transferred over into just being in the ocean in general, surfing and every other aspect of like water sports, is you really get a better grasp of how waves work, how they move, and your read on the ocean gets way better.
And the one thing, like finding power is so interesting. Like, and I think that's something that's been like even transferred over to surfing, is like, because you're out there and you're riding wind chops. They're not like these swells, and you have to find power and efficiency and everything. And it's so crazy because you go into surfing and then you're like, oh, you kind of know where to find that power at.
Everything about the foils caused like a study of maximizing efficient energy and speed.
Yeah.
So like they said it, ultimately it is going to serve your surfing. It is going to make you better as a surfer, because you get to learn different ways to find the energy, where it is, especially when you are downwinding. It's choppy, it's hard to see. You really have to have a deeper connection, maybe with like feeling where the energy is. And so that's just going to make you better as a surfer, like they said. Something that's like important to me is to address, how can we coexist, because that's sometimes the thing that's like going to create some tension, because now you have like the perfect, or you have surfers that are at the perfect peak, and there's someone showing up, with an e-foil or towing right in front of them. Obviously, I think there is like ways to coexist, and the priority is like, to me, it's always like whoever is the least maneuverable has the priority. So if you think of like a surfer paddling, with their arms like, into a wave, I think they should have the priority. Obviously, like they have the priority over maybe someone with like a stand-up paddle that has like so much more power, can catch the wave. So obviously, courtesy, you just like want to leave whoever has the least maneuverability the priority. And that comes to foiling as well. If you are like, you caught the wave rarely, you pump back out, don't go right in front of or in the middle of the surfers. You can exit before, pump back out. And then same thing if you have like an e-foil, that gives you a lot of like range to go explore other places. So as long as like, everybody understand that like there is enough out there for everybody, and we don't need to be fighting for the same wave, the same opportunity. I think that's what's important, and that's why I see like foiling like really opening the door to now you can get away and really explore.
Yeah, I mean, I second that 100%, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And the goal is to lift up both sports and just better people's experiences in life and in the water. But the reality of it is, courtesy, be courteous. Look, I don't care if you're on a boogie board, an SUP, an e-foil, a foil, a surf, it doesn't matter. Be respectful. Now, we all know, we've been in those situations where there's a beginner. He doesn't know the rules. Those scenarios happen in every sport, and they're going to be in the way, and that's just you being the better person to be like, hey, you might be safer being right here, and you might not get run over by the guys, or whatever it may be. It's always being as courteous as you can and helping those people that are learning. But again, if you are able and the sport, be respectful. I think the most unique thing about foiling is you can ride the awesome waves, but you also have the opportunity to shoot wherever you want to go and catch anything and still have that same feeling, that same carving, that same incredible performance that you get on a surfboard. And diving right into that, I would say the most spectacular thing a surfer can learn as well with foiling is when you start to foil and you start making bottom turns and you get on the lips and you start feeling it, what translates that's amazing is you feel the energy in the swell or the wave, and you feel it in a really different way to really understand, like if I go out into the bottom turn, you lose that lift, you lose that performance to obviously turn right back in and get into that energy pocket. But you really can translate learning a lot about how that wave works in a foil, and it'll help you with your surfing. But ending that with Gwen's important advice is, look, be courteous. The foil community is I think very respectful, and I think the goal is, we need to teach, all of us need to help people out there and make sure they understand that it is new. We need to be respectful, and the most important point is we all can exist in it. It's just a matter of being respectful and being courteous.
Yeah, and I think communication, if as like different sports, we don't communicate, sometimes it can create this tension because we don't know each other. We think the other one is the enemy or bad or whatever. And once you start communicating, talking, everything gets better. So I think communication and respect is a huge thing. And then, we all kind of like look up to the waterman, spirit. And I think this is exactly the perfect example of as a waterman, you want to find ways to enjoy the ocean in different ways, in ways that, gives you the opportunity to play in the ocean in all kind of conditions. So, if you are, just surfing, you are like limited to just one kind of conditions. And sometimes you live in that perfect place. That's the conditions, and that's great. But sometimes you live in a place that maybe that's only a small part of the conditions. Like here in Florida, if you are just a surfer, you're only gonna have like
handful of days
a year that are like really perfect for surfing. If you open it to other sports, whether it's foiling, wing foiling, downwind subfoiling, now you get all those days, like literally almost every single day of the year. You can be out there, and yes, it's gonna make you better as a waterman. And I think that's the goal. Is like how can we enjoy the ocean as much as possible for like your like mental health, physical health. That's the goal.
And as we tap on that, another big question that comes up, or maybe you're thinking that right now, you're like, hey, I'm 76 years old, I've surfed my whole life, maybe I'm 50. I don't want to go through that learning curve on a foil. And I would say, there are steps that you can make that can really help your life. And that would be, stepping onto an e-foil or like a Lift X that was just launched from Lift Foils. These type of apparatuses, now you have electric, you have the ability to just work on the basics of the foiling and get up and catch a wave without going through all the, struggles of the learning process in foiling. Yet it can lead into downwind foiling, and it can lead into riding a lake swell as long as it's windy. There's a lot of opportunity there. I would say, an e-foil or toe foiling or learning, Wing Foil Pro Center. There's many ways you can learn. There's plenty of dealers out there. I would just say that don't use that as a excuse saying, hey, I don't know, it's just not something I should dive into right now. I would say it can open up your door to so many more days on the water, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and you'll really enjoy that learning process. And like Gwen says, mental health, being outside, doing all those things, it opens up a healthier lifestyle. And that's the goal for us in making this video, was to, we know that there's a lot of controversy maybe with it, but the main goal is to just share it with you. There's a lot to go around. There's so many pros, and we hope this helps you at least in your thought process of it. And if anything, share it to your friends who want to get into it, and maybe reasons why they should join you and be a part of that, because it's always more fun to do it with a friend or with friends and be in that community and build that community in your area.
Yeah, I mean, like the truth is, yes, foiling is is hard, it's not easy, but same as surfing. If you are a surfer, I have no doubt you can learn foiling. Surfing is not easy. easier. So it proved that like you've put in the time, you've put in the work, and you've mastered it. So you can do the same with foiling.
Yeah, and if you're a paddleboarder, you're already paddling. I mean, you just attach the foil, and all of a sudden it can open up that next level.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a link in the description to a bunch of videos that'll help you with your prone foiling, with your wing foiling, with your, John Florence and Nathan Florence with the downwind dialogue, Zane Westwood, the Unbounded. Thanks, Dane Wilson, for letting us use some of the footage. But honestly, guys, these are all great things for you to really see that transition from one sport to another and how much it can benefit you in ways to get into it and kind of that feeling. So hopefully this helps you. We really appreciate you guys, and please share this with your buddies and friends. The goal is to help people always, and we hope this helps you, and hopefully it gives you a little bit of inspiration. So on that note,
thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out wingfoilprocenter.com, we can help you right there to dial up the setup that you need. And on that note, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.